Hola, hola, hola. Hey, everybody. Today is Wednesday, and as you know, every Wednesday I record the podcast. So, the podcast, Mujer De Exito Unbounded, Woman of Success Without Limits. Hola, hola, hola. My name is MartiAngel. Soy su anfitriona. I am your host for this episode of the Mujer De Exito Unbounded podcast. This is a podcast, though. People always ask me, what's it about? Well, it's about sharing stories about women that have gone from surviving to thriving, and it's also a podcast where we empower mujeres to achieve unbounded success in your business and in your life. So once again, if you're joining me on the Coach MartiAngel YouTube channel live, you can probably see how many times I move around, move my hands, do silly things. And if you're not, then you hear me laugh. It's probably because I've done something and you're listening to me on the audio. Wherever you're listening to me from, I just want to say I am so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you, my listeners and my watchers. This is MartiAngel, your host for Mujer De Exito Unbounded. Let's get to today's topic. Today's topic is here for today. It's about time management and how important it is to your success, to your business success, to your daily success, to whatever success that you need. So, para ayudarte a conquistar tus sueños y vivir una vida llena de propósito, esa es la meta. So, ahora, today, we are diving in, like I said, to a topic that's crucial for all you mujerpreneurs. Whether you are a seasoned mujerpreneur that has been at it for a while, or maybe you are in the sunset of your life and you're thinking, okay, now what? Now what's going to be left once I retire? So it's important for us mujeres, mujerpreneurs, as I call you, to master time management. Porque, amigas, let's face it, time is our most precious resource, ¿verdad? Es el recurso más precioso de todo el mundo, de todos. So how we use it can mean the difference between feeling overwhelmed and feeling empowered, ¿verdad? So think about how often we wish for more hours in the day. Raise your hand. I know I've been there. I wish for way more hours in the day. But what if I told you, ¿qué si te digo? What if I told you it's not about having more time, but it is about using your time wisely? Bing, bing, story time. Okay. We all know that when we were in elementary school, at least when I was in elementary school, the teachers would write your report card and they would write comments. And I remember so clearly, it devastated me. In third grade, the teacher wrote, "Does not use time wisely." And that stuck with me forever and again. And I said, never again is that, never, ever, ever. What does she mean? How am I not using my time wisely? And I still remember that to this day. I remember I went home and I was crying, Mama, and I showed it to her and she said, what were you doing? What are you doing? Or what are you not doing, right? So I had to sit back, and I think that was the very first time I actually sat and contemplated things. But I resolved that day that I was never, ever, ever going to get that remark from any one of my teachers, ever. So I began on my quest, ¿verdad? La historia desde que estaba chica y pequeña, cuando estaba en tercer grado, que una de las maestras allí en el reporte puso que no usaba yo mi tiempo justamente, ¿verdad? Y dije, nunca más, no vuelve. I was young, but it still bothered me. So, today, I'm reliving that, and let's start with a simple yet powerful strategy. How's that? Let's start with the end in mind. That is number one. Start with the end in mind. What is it that you want your task, your goal to look like at the end, right? And then backtrack. It's like I tell my husband all the time, because he's famously late all the time. Raise your hand. Do you know somebody who's always famously late? I have been married over 40 some years, and he still is late. And I keep trying to tell him, but start with the end in mind and move that way. And a simple way to explain it is, for example, you have an appointment at 10:30. You have to be there at 10:30. So if you're going to be sitting there at 10:30, you have to make time to get parking. So then you want to give yourself maybe 10 more minutes for parking, right? For the parking. And then you want to give yourself 3 to 5 minutes extra to walk there, right? So now that we've got a cushion, we have to have a cushion of 15 minutes, right? If your appointment's at 10:30. Now, however long it takes for you to drive there, let's say it takes 30 minutes. Now you add to that 15 minutes, you add 30 minutes. And that now gives you a head start of 45 minutes, right? So you've got to be in the car driving out 45 minutes before the appointment. Now we backtrack it even more with the end in mind. You backtrack it and you think, okay, it takes me 30 minutes to get ready after a 15-minute shower. So now you've got another 45 minutes. So now you have to start getting ready 90 minutes before you even decide to get to that appointment, right? And so that's how you do it. You just work your way backwards. You just work it back. That's all you've got to do is work it backwards. So think about this. Imagine it's the end of the day. Okay, yes, it's the end of the day. Ya estás sentada and you're reflecting on what you've accomplished. And, what do you want to feel proud of in your workday? What do you want to feel proud of? What is it that you want to make sure that's accomplished before you leave your desk that day? And so, amigas, chulas, hermosas, by setting clear daily goals, you create a roadmap that guides your actions. Amazing. Once again, welcome to all of you, my listeners. Welcome. Thank you for being here on the Coach MartiAngel YouTube channel. If you're watching me live, if you are listening to me wherever you listen to your favorite podcast show, gracias por estar aquí. You're listening to the Mujer De Exito Unbounded. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell, because every week I give clear tips, easy, clear tips for you to rock your business and for you to become a multiple streams queen just like me, right? So make sure you look me up on the Coach MartiAngel YouTube channel, because along with the podcast, I also give tips, all right? So let's say you're no longer going through the motions, right? You're no longer going through the motions because you now have set a roadmap to what it is that you want to accomplish, because you've started with the end in mind. Now, mujeres hermosas chulas, you are moving intentionally, making every moment count. Isn't that amazing? Cada momento cuenta. Cuando empiezas a moverte intencionalmente, cada momento cuenta. So that's important for you to think about. Now you're probably asking, okay, Marti, so that's great. You're used to doing this. I know you just said your husband doesn't do it. Even though, it doesn't rub off because it doesn't work like osmosis. But let me share with you one tool. Déjenme compartirles una herramienta que me ha ayudado mucho. One tool that has tremendously helped me is a structured daily planner. Now, I use both. I write it down. You know, if you're looking at me, I write it down, and I have what's called a steno pad, and I write down every day what needs to be done, what I want to accomplish, what's the big goal for that day. But I also use Trello. I am a digital marketer and I use Trello. I love Trello. I know there's lots of other things, so you just choose one that's easy for you to use. The key word here is easy for you to use. In other words, you don't have to spend a whole lot of time figuring out how to use it, but that it's easy for you to use. Now, ese planner transformed, that planner that I use transformed how I prioritize my tasks. Why is it so important to prioritize your tasks? Well, for me, instead of feeling lost in a list that is, that's long, en vez de sentirme perdida en una lista interminable, I focus on what truly matters, right? I focus on what truly matters. But let me share again with you that before I discovered this approach, for me being an ADHD person, it was tough. It was really, really tough. So if you're out there going like, I don't finish what I start, and I catch myself, just yesterday, I caught myself opening a box that came from Amazon before I was finished doing what I was doing. And, I was like, okay, my ADHD got the best of me right now, but I'm going to come back, or I'm going to come right back. So before I discovered, I'm going back to the story, before I discovered this approach, I'd feel so overwhelmed that either I quit or I left or I didn't even know where to start. Truly. Now, hit that subscribe bell if you're watching me on the Coach MartiAngel YouTube channel. Drop me some love and give me a thumbs up if you've ever been there, just like me. But setting my top 3 priorities as we move forward, I set my 3 top priorities. So setting my 3 top priorities every day gave me clarity and purpose. Tienes que delinear tus 3 prioridades más grandes, ¿verdad? So once you do that, things begin to flow the right way, not flow away from you, but the right way. So before you go to bed, take a moment to reflect on your top 3 priorities for the next day, for your life, right? For your life. What are your top 3 priorities? And write them down. There is something to be said between what you think and what you write down. It's like a flow, right? It just flows. So escríbelas y verás cómo te cambia el día. If you begin to write them, you will see how your day goes much better, much better. And you'll wake up, Mujeres Hermosas. I don't do it before I go to bed because I have other rituals, I actually do it before I leave my desk so that I know that when I come in the morning, I know exactly what needs to be done. And it's always on my Trello as well. But I promise you, and I remember, I, MartiAngel, don't make promises I can't keep. So you'll wake up with a sense of direction and confidence that will help you move through your tasks and move through your day much more smoothly. Yes, truly. Now, Mujeres Hermosas Chulas, let's talk about another game-changing strategy that has worked for me. I batch similar tasks together. So let me give you an example. If I need to, let's say, put a load of laundry in and and I put all my things in rather than to come sit down and then go back in the house and get the laundry basket and do all of that. I think, okay, if I'm going to go outside, I'm going to put everything in the laundry basket anyways. That way, when I go outside, I just put it down over there in the laundry room and boom, now I don't have to worry about going back in to get it, right? So it's like batching that task. I have to come out this way to set up my desk, so I may as well bring the basket of dirty clothes with me, ¿verdad? So now those are two tasks that I've batched together. And so it's important to, batch your tasks. A ver, déjenme preguntarles, ¿te ha pasado que te sientes agotada from jumping between different activities like emails, meetings, and creating content in your business? It's exhausting, right? It's like, okay, I got to do this and I got to do that and I got to do this. And sometimes it's like, oh, shoot, I forgot to send that email, right? Ever been there? I know it's happened to me. It's exhausting. Truly, really, ¿verdad? Well, this is what is called context switching. Different from code switching. For instance, you hear me and I'm going back and forth from English to Spanish, de español a inglés. That's called code switching. But what I'm talking about is context switching. And it drains your mental energy because you're going in and out and you're switching tasks. And every time you switch a task, mujeres hermosas chulas, let me repeat this. Every time you switch a task, your brain has to refocus. And being an ADHD person, I needed to learn how to do this. And let me give you another example. So I want to make sure that I get to 10,000 steps every day, right? And sometimes I'm sitting at my desk and I'm thinking, oh gosh, I got to go outside. But then I go outside and then I come back in and I forgot what I was doing and boom, right? Because I switched tasks. So it takes time for my brain to refocus. So instead, I know I have to get those steps in and I've got my background music going. So I get up as I'm listening maybe or typing on a standing, I have these raised desk raisers so that I can stand. So when I'm standing, I'm actually moving side to side and I don't feel like I need a treadmill, but I'm moving side to side. I'm marching as I'm doing whatever it is that I'm doing. Now, I'm not switching tasks. I'm actually combining two tasks. So my brain doesn't have to stop and start, if you will. Does that make sense? Because that not only takes brain time, but it takes real time. So every time you switch tasks, if you do one task at a time, like many people tell you to do, your brain has to refocus. And for an ADHD brain like mine, whoo, amigas chulas hermosas, that can take a long time. Eso me dura a veces eternidades y completamente se me olvida todo. But if you dedicate, let me give you another example. If you dedicate one block of time to respond to all your emails, and I use the Pomodoro technique, right? I have this little timer and I give myself 25 minutes to just focus on emails and responding to my emails. Now, you may not have as many emails as I do, or whatever it is. And if I've done responding, I can move over. It's all about emails. So I create an email for the following week for my email list, which, by the way, if you're interested in always getting tips and tricks on how to rock your six figures, sign up for my email list, right? I send one a week, no more than that. And sometimes just two a month, right? So dedicate one block of time to respond to all your emails. Bloquea un pedacito de tu tiempo para que respondas a todas tus emails, ¿verdad? And another one, block your time for, these are the times that I'm going to use for, Zoom meetings, or I'm going to use for live meetings, right? Otro bloque para tus reuniones. And then here's something that we always forget. Set up a separate block of time for your creative work, for your content creation, for your whatever it is, your social media creation. Set up another block of time. Now, you can choose to do this daily, or you can choose to do this weekly, whatever works for you. But that is so important, a separate block of time for creative work. Pon otro bloque de tiempo para tu trabajo de creatividad, ¿verdad? Muy importante. Eso se nos olvida a veces. So this strategy, my friends, hermosas, chulas, streamlines your workflow and preserves your focus. And again, as I said, this ADHD mama here, this ADHD Latina boss lady here knows what it's all about, right? I know it sounds simple, very simple, but the results can be life-changing. I went from working like 6 to 8 hours a day on my business for 5 to 6 days a week to working 4 days a week, 5 hours a day. That is life-changing. Now I find myself twiddling my thumbs and thinking, okay, now what am I going to do? Ooh, right? But I remember when I first started using these methods. I struggled. So if you're looking at me thinking, Marti, how do I start? I hear you. I see you. I feel you. I struggled to organize my day efficiently until I found some amazing resources. Y sí, I'll share more about the amazing resources that helped me in just a moment. But these tools that I'm about to share help me map out my work hours and allocate focused time sin sentirme tan abrumada, right? No overwhelm for me, not allowed. It's about giving yourself permission to be fully present in every task. Amigas, chulas, hermosas. Think of this. Piensa como que si fuera esto un regalito que te estás dando a ti misma. Think of it as a gift to give yourself. The gift of mental clarity and more energy. Who does not want more clarity and more energy? Raise your hand, right? That's not true. No, you want clarity and energy. ¿Te gusta? Con estos tips, a ver, levanten la mano si ustedes quieren más claridad y más energía durante su día. ¿Verdad? ¿Verdad que sí? So another critical piece of this productivity puzzle that I am sharing with you for free is take breaks. I do this every day. I take a 10-minute break. I walk outside. I'm getting my steps in. I'm tapping. I'm releasing negative energy. I'm breathing in money, exhaling money. I am an uncanny manifester. I'm a witchy, wealthy person. I just am giving you tips to rock your 6 figures. Sé que sueña contradictorio, pero taking regular breaks actually boosts your productivity. And I'm not talking large breaks, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. Have you, like I said before, have you used that Pomodoro technique, or have you heard of it? It's where you work for 25 minutes y luego descansas por 5, right? So you work for 25 or 55, and then you've got to make sure you relax, or you walk around and clear your mind for 5 minutes. During those short breaks, though, step away from your workspace. Stretch, hydrate. It's really important you hydrate. Now, before I leave, though, I write down on my little pad what I'm doing so that it doesn't take me so much time when I come back to refocus. Okay, now what? Because you come back and you say, okay, now what was I doing? But if you write it down like I do before I actually take my break, créanme, hermosas, chulas mujeres, your brain needs that time to breathe, but coming back, it's really important that you know where you're starting from. A mentor once told me, Marti, you have to rest to be your best. Así que, amigas, it's so important that that you actually think about, what you need to do. You got to pause every moment. You got to pause and think about, what is it that you're going to do next? Right? And it's so important that you're giving yourself an opportunity to be the best in every area of your life. Take all of these tips and make sure that you are doing what you need to do. Right? And now let's be honest. We all need those moments to simply breathe. We all need the moments to simply breathe. Especially now, especially in this day and age when so much negativity, darkness, and all of this nasty stuff is happening around us, it's important that we take moments to smile, we take moments to breathe, we take moments to be happy, we take moments to be grateful. It's important, mujeres hermosas chulas. So now this brings me to another important point. Finding the right tools for you. Not all productivity systems work for everybody. You've got to find the right tools that work for you. Es importante que tú descubras lo que funciona mejor para tu estilo de vida y para tu negocio. Like I said before, I use Trello, but so many other people use Asana and other things like that. And I just didn't like it. It was like too much. I just want something very simple, right? And so for me, I love Trello. So finding customizable templates and guided digital resources for me was a game changer. Fue un cambio de un juego. Right? These resources made planning my day something that I actually look forward to. Now, side note here. I have found supportive time management communities that inspire me to be consistent and motivated. And I am so incredibly excited because I have just opened up a new community that's well within your price range, to remind you that you're not alone in this journey. And I teach, and not only do I teach, because remember, I'm an educator. So I not only teach it to you, but we do it together. We do it together. So often you join these communities and they teach you, they just give you the steps to do it and then go do it on your own, right? I was never that kind of teacher. That's why the kids always did so well in my algebra courses, because I would say, okay, we're going to practice these things and you're going to write down every step, and I'm going to give you some problems. Add a step or two and change the numbers, but you know how to do this. It made the kids feel more successful, and every time you feel more successful, you're more apt to succeed because you don't give up so easily. That's important. So I want you to remember, you're not alone in this entrepreneurial journey. You have me, your Latina biz coach, multiple streams queen, MartiAngel. But we all need encouragement and tools that uplift us, especially in our most challenging moments. And sometimes making an investment in yourself, whether it's a planner, a digital course, or a supportive community like the one I offer, can yield the greatest returns. And it's not just about your business. No, it's about improving your overall quality of life. Imagine feeling less stressed, more in control, and excited about each new day. That, my friends, is what you get in my community, right? So as I wrap up, let me remind you, time management is not about cramming more into your day. It's about making the most of the time you have. When you have the right habits and the right tools, everything se vuelve más sencillo. Everything becomes easier. Take it from someone who's been there, done that. Someone who knows. I walk my talk. When I was a principal, people would say, oh yeah, that's the principal, and she walks her talk. I remember the first time I heard that, it just made me feel so good. I was like, oh, I'm so incredibly thankful. I am the example of what I want people to feel. Right? So take it from someone who's tried almost every productivity hack out there. The simplest changes often have the most profound impact. Let me repeat that. The simplest changes often have the most profound impact. Mujeres hermosas, chulas. If you made it this far, gracias por estar aquí. My name is MartiAngel. I'm the host of Mujer de Exito Unbounded, Woman of Success Without Limits. And soy su anfitriona. Gracias por estar aquí. If today's episode resonated with you, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell if you're listening to me, watching me on the Coach MartiAngel YouTube channel. Or download the episode if you're listening to wherever you listen to your favorite episodes, shows, because that's how the algorithm helps us. So if you want to explore more resources that have changed my approach, be sure to check out the links that I put in the show notes or in the description below. Confía en mí. Investing in yourself and your time management skills will pay off immensely. Once again, mujeres hermosas, chulas, thank you. Gracias so much for joining me today on the Mujer de Exito Unbounded show. Like I said before, don't forget to subscribe, click that bell, leave a review, a positive one, please, and share this episode with another mujerpreneur who needs to hear this so that we can empower more mujeres to rock their biz. Hasta la próxima, amigas chulas hermosas. Remember, you are unbounded. Tú eres poderosa y capaz de todo. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Namaste. Gracias.